If you're anything like me, aka old as hell, then you grew up playing the MX vs ATV games. Now, I'm not a dirt bike guy per se, but ever since I played Excite Bike on the original Nintendo, I fell in love with dirt bike racing games. And to be fair, 90s culture was popping off with extreme sports like the X Games, skateboarding, BMX, motocross, snowboarding. All that stuff was hype. So while I only partook in skateboarding and BMX firsthand myself, I was never good at it. However, I am into mini electric pit bikes. Now, I was an enjoyer of watching other sports such as motocross, but what I enjoyed the most was playing the games. Eventually, though, MX vs ATV fell off, and while they try to make new games, they don't quite hit the same as the GOAT in the series MX vs ATV Reflex. So I drifted away from dirt bike games. Now I say that to show where I am with these type of games. I played the hell out of them back in the day, they fell off, and I drifted away. But eventually I found a game called MX Bikes. Now what drew my attention is that this game was different, because this game is a simulator. And something about simulation when done right, it just tickles something in my brain and I really enjoy it. Now MX Bikes has its niche following. There's plenty of videos on YouTube that are popular on the game, but sadly for me when it comes to this game in particular, is that all the cool stuff about it is the mods. And sadly all the good mods you'll see in these videos, well, those are paid mods. And for me personally, I'm not down for that. It really ruins the concept of the game for me, especially when you realize that the game hasn't had a meaningful update in years. It's basically abandoned in my opinion. So I stepped away from it as well. Then there's another game known as Tracked AR, which has its own spin with dirt bike simulation, but it's very indie, and the updates are slow. So even then, I can't really get what I'm looking for in a dirt bike simulation game. But here's where things can possibly change within this genre of gaming. Motocross The Game, what you might see as just MTG for short, is a realistic dirt bike simulator with built-in online competitive as a huge basis for it. Now this game is currently in development, and the only people who actually played it are the Kickstarter backers who are under NDA. So really, this is just one of those hopeful possibility gaming moments, so who really knows what's going to happen. But so far it's looking extremely promising. They've been dropping a few updates here and there about the progress of the game, and if what they show is to be believed, well, we might just have the first real dirt bike simulator to bring this genre to the mass market and do it right. And by right, I mean that it will have real polish and first-hand content support. Like I said before, MX Bikes barely has real content and support. You have to go into the modding scene to get anything worth playing, and Tracked AR is a one-person dev type of situation. And you might be thinking, why not play the new MX vs ATV or Monster Energy games? Those are full-fledged games with content and support. And the answer for that is, well, they are boring. They are average arcade games at best, and that just does not grab me in the same way Reflex did back in 2009. Motocross The Game is different though because it is a realistic simulation game, and realistic simulation takes racing games to a whole nother level. This is extremely true with car racing games. You have no idea what you are missing until you step into a sim rig and start running laps on the Nürburgring in Assetto Corsa Evo. Because in the grand scheme of things, all racing games do is have you drive in circles, which is a pretty boring concept at first, but as soon as it's a realistic simulation, now you have real in-depth mechanics and simulations in play, which means every choice matters and skill becomes more than just being able to have quick reflexes on a controller. And this is what makes a dirt bike sim so enticing. The options right now are limited and always leave me wanting more out of them than what they are offering. However, that's the whole point of this video, is to bring attention to Motocross The Game, as MTG looks to be the first dirt bike sim to really offer what I'm looking for. Appetizing graphics. While I'm not someone who cares about graphics, I do care about a game having a comprehensive art style, and so far MTG's graphics and art style feel to be very cohesive with its overall presentation. Unreal Engine, while not having the best reputation with the games honestly, does still offer a good foundation so long as the developers are using it properly. Here's to hoping they know how to optimize a game. Simulation. So far it seems they are putting in the work to properly simulate the game. After all, they use the line hyper-realistic in their description. It's hard to tell from the early gameplay videos, and we won't truly know how it feels until we get our hands on it ourselves, but from what's being shown, it seems to be going in the right direction. MTG will have 3D scanned tracks. Now 3D scanned tracks is a really cool thing in racing simulation games, and while you wouldn't know it firsthand, it genuinely does make a difference. After all, the point of a real-life simulation game is that it simulates real life as best it can, and while I'm not against fantasy tracks, knowing that you can get on a one-to-one scale real-life stage and put your skills to the test is a huge asset aspect that once you experience it in a game, you just get it. It's something you feel in your gut that says, yeah, this feels really good. Something I've experienced again in a game like AC Evo and AC Route. They did mention terrain deformation will be in the game, and while I couldn't find exactly how they plan to implement it, real terrain deformation is key for a dirt bike game. After experiencing it in MX bikes and Track AR, it is a must, and a gameplay mechanic that I fell in love with ever since they added it in MX vs ATV Reflex back in the day. The gameplay it adds to the game is insanely important. Tracks have lines that you will take, eventually you'll find your flow for the best corners, but after a few laps in a race and everyone is taking the same line, having real terrain deformation and erosion in those lines will create another level of skill. Do you take the same line on lap 6 that while was the fastest now has ruts that can throw you to the ground if you hit them wrong? Or do you now take another line that is cleaner and retains more traction but is a tenth of a second slower? A true gameplay affecting mechanic. Also, in general, it brings tracks to life. No terrain deformation makes a track feel dead and lifeless, no matter how pretty it's made. So again, we have to wait to see how they plan to implement it. If anyone has info on that I couldn't find, please let me know. There are plenty of other things as well they're doing with the game, like partnering with Ducati, Yamaha, FMF brands, and I hope to see more real-life bikes, parts, and gear integrated. There's a crash and stamina system that will affect your actual rider, a weather system that will affect the tracks real time, competitive online racing with ranking and safety ranking as well, also practice in non-ranked modes, rider and bike customization and tuning, etc, etc. Yeah, the game is looking to be the whole package. The only thing I'm hoping to see now is if they will add the ability to race against AI, something that MX bikes and Track AR lack entirely. Anyway guys, this video has been long enough and I'm going to end it here. Let me know what you think about the current information about Motocross the Game. I'm pretty damn excited about it. Join the Discord, all music featured in the video was made by me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.